So you get to New York.
Right. Okay,
And
so my
yeah.
friends in New York, so I was able to meet, so many people who weren't like people then. They were just my friends, like Puffy and
All right, because Puffy went to Howard also. Yeah.
right, and he was there when I was there, and all of his friends would come there. Heavy D,
Hmm.
um, everybody, Lord Jamar. I was
My homie.
there.
Yep.
um Everybody, I don't want to kind of just the name, blah, blah, there's the name, but yeah, I was a part of that whole movement. My best friend, she was responsible for for you ever even seeing groups like Tribe, and her sister Chrissy Murray, is a legend in the game. So I was able to be loved by people that made me popular. Like, people don't understand that. Like Joan Crawford, she was a dance hall girl. Her name became famous throughout California because she wouldn't wear no drawers and she would do the Charleston. So that's how she got, into. So I had my drawers on. I'm just using the analogy to
Hmm.
say, well, sometimes, I was a kid. And sometimes you don't want to wear none because, but ladies, you know what I'm saying, when I had panty lines showing, I was much thinner then. But anyway, we're gonna stay focused. So, what was the point I was making? Yeah, so my friends from New York, they would love me, and they would protect me. So I was popular as a person, be always, before I became an actress. And that's the point I'm trying to make with using Joan Joan Crawford as an example, because she was popular as a socialite, a person before, and that is how we get jobs in Hollywood. There's a new wave, but it doesn't cease. You when you're first starting out, you have to get a publicist, because you can't just go to any party. There's the right parties that you need to be at, and you need to be seen with the right people. And I went to Howard, so we created our own right people. You know,
Hmm.
I went to college with Arnell Simpson, and she became one of my best friends. And we we tore this town up. If there had been a reality show about the hearts we were breaking, it would. I'm just saying. The Kardashians. Like, I remember when they were Arnell's baby sisters. When we'd go and they looked up to her. I, you know, I remember Kedada. That's always been my girl. All the little Hollywood socialites. Arnell was, the queen. But it's sad that what happened. And I was here during all of that and a part of all of that, and it really broke my heart, to tell the truth. And I don't think any of us have fully recovered from that whole situation.
So you get to New York
Right.
and you start working.
Well,
And
I'm not working as a stand up comedian. I'm just silly. I'm funny.
yeah.
I'm a clown. I like to have fun. So
Hmm.
I get a job at Jezebel, but I get that job through Phyllis Siobhan Stickney. So I get to, so I'm in Howard. I'm at Howard, and I do my final graduation scene with Anthony Carl Cockroach Payne. Cockroach, remember Cockroach from the my boy Bill
Cosby
Cosby's
Show. Yeah.
show Cockroach.
Yeah.
So he went to college with me, and he was our star, and Anthony Anderson was like our baby. Because Anthony came like when he was 16, and the rest of us were like 17, 18, and he got a scholarship and like skipped a grade. So those were our, we're gonna lift him up. So I did a scene with Anthony Payne from Extremities where he raped me, and I won an internship with Woody King and the New Federal Theater Company, and he recommended me at the same time for another internship with Douglas Turner Ward in the NEC, the Negro Ensemble Company. So that's how I got to New York. But because I had so many people there, that was my place, and I had family there. My mom made me live with my auntie, but she was old, and I come home and she was going through the change, and her dress be all up over her, and just everything exposed, and I was a baby. I just didn't want to see all that, so I convinced my mom. Finally, it was drama anyway. I convinced my mom to get me a room, which was like a box with a toilet, and in 23rd and Lex, and I moved there. And when I say my college friends took care of me, I mean literally. Like, so right after graduation, when I moved to New York, my best friend was dating Sweetwater. Yeah, Sweetwater, and he was Eddie Murphy's best friend. So I got a master's class from Eddie Murphy right after college. And I don't know if he remembers that it was me or even knows, but he taught. He taught me. He sat there and he showed me Mom's Mabley. And he paused and he showed me and explained what made it funny, what made the scene funny. He introduced me to Rudy Ray Moore. He put in some Rudy Ray Moore.
Right. He's actually doing a Rudy Ray Moore movie.
Yes, I heard.
On Netflix, yeah.
I heard. I know. My baby Lou told me.
Yeah, Lunel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my big sister.
Interview her all the time. She's in it also.
She's why I'm here. Like, just so you know. I was like, okay, if Big Sis says go, I'll do it. I love this boy. So, yeah. So, I got a master's class, from Eddie Murphy before even, auditioning for anything.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he took the time, and honestly, I don't even know if he knows it was me. Like, I don't even know if. We've never talked about it. I've never, really seen him to be like, hey, Eddie, remember that time, that young girl that you like? I mean, he spent hours. Like, it was straight up a master's class from the friggin' master. And it changed my life.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie's the greatest stand-up comedian turned actor of all time, honestly. There's been lots of comedians who've done acting, but I don't think any of them really have gotten to an Eddie Murphy level.
No. Or talent. And the passion he had for teaching. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, he went in depth. Like, it's something I believe he should do, for others.
Yeah.
So then after that, I'm still working for Phyllis. And Phyllis is an actress, and she's like, look, boo-boo, I can't pay you, so I'm going to send you over to Alberta Wright. Alberta Wright is the Michael Wright's mom, who owns a restaurant called Jezebel. And I'm not sure, I don't even think it's still there, but at the time it was like the premier, theater row black restaurant. Anyone, frequented Jezebel. And so I got a job there. And the whole theme was a bordello. And you had to be cute to work there. You had to wear heels. You had to learn how to balance the tray. And I saw Forrest Whitaker come in. And one of the major no-nos was you're not allowed to speak to patrons in a way where you're selling yourself. And so I went and got my picture and my resume, and I sold myself, and I got an audition. The very next day, he called me in, and I had to go to work. And he said, do you want this job, or do you want to go back to work? And I couldn't just leave Alberta hanging dry, and I felt like I just couldn't. It wasn't a sure enough thing for me. And I guess I was scared, maybe if I had have said, but neither here nor there. I went back to work and I lost my job. and I had to make something happen. So I was making at Jezebel. I was making stripper money. I mean, no, straight up. I was bringing home like 500 a night. A good night was a G, because the clientele was so rich. They were tipping like $100 a a bill. So I was bringing home some real bank. So it helped me, and I guarantee you, my mother was like, you don't have a job, you've got a month, and you come back to Cleveland. And I was like, I booked. I went and got the Backstage magazine, honey, and I booked Apollo Comedy Hour. And I booked over like 600 other women in the tri-state area, and it was myself and Lisa Nicole Carson, and that was my first break.